So, hi everyone, congratulations on making it to the final talk. Either you didn't find where the exit is or you're super incredibly dedicated. Either ways, I'm super glad you're here. So before I get started on the content part, I would like to shortly introduce myself. I'm Jeyashree Krishnan. I work for Siemens Advanta Consulting, which is the consulting segment of Siemens. For the last couple of years now, and before that I finished my PhD in computational biology in the Technical University of Aachen. So, based on my job description, you can think my day job is half-time data nerd and the rest of the time more on the sales side, like talking with our clients, managing stakeholders internally and externally, both the senior management of our customers as well as our own company. Before I also get started on the cloud part, I just want to throw it out there. Obviously, my slides is going to have a lot of images. A fun activity for us, if you can find, please find the ones generated by ChatGPT, DALL-E, Stable Diffusion, which is basically not a human-generated image, if you can find one. And I can promise you there are some. So why am I talking about cloud? We talked about AI a lot in the last couple of days. It was literally the most commonly used word in the last 2 days. But I believe there is a fundamental backbone to AI, which is data, and the fundamental backbone to data is cloud. And cloud is a favorite topic of mine, and I'm glad I could talk about it a bit today. So I've structured the talk like this. I will just get started on the state of the art as I understand it of cloud in pharma, and then obviously motivate the benefits that are already obvious to you, and then go on to challenges which may or may not be obvious to all of us, and then spotlight a few use cases of some of the work that we did with our clients which might be relevant to the audience here. The last bit is more like a call to action, how you could potentially think about becoming a cloud-first company. And we can take it up from there. So just before I get started, I want to give you a short overview of what Siemens Advanta Consulting, perhaps you've already heard of it before. It was formerly called Siemens Management Consulting. Now we are doing more, not just the conventional strategy consulting, but also digital transformation related aspects. As you know, Siemens is huge. It does everything from industrial automation to selling refrigerators to building trains and whatnot. And we work with data of all sorts. In particular, of course, we closely work with health engineers and also external clients and customers, and we are present pretty much everywhere. So going on to the cloud part. So a lot of conversations in the last couple of days is about data that we collect. So this is like a one-slide view of all kinds of data that you could actually be collecting in the pharma industry. So everything from what patient data to medical professionals to, as a company, you have a body of data lying around somewhere. No, this is cool, this is incredible. We're collecting data, we're going to learn on the data, we're going to generate new models, we're going to supervise them, we're going to learn from them. Awesome. But what I think we all overlook is when you are actually talking about a machine learning model. A machine learning model is not one entity, it has multiple components of its own. You have different kinds of model, you have different kinds of input data. The data can be structured, unstructured, it could be time series, it could be image. We heard a lot about modality in the last couple of days as well. So for all of this, you need an infrastructure where you can build, maintain, and deploy the data as well as the model. And there was also an interesting note earlier today about synthetic data and data generated by humans. And in the cloud infrastructure, you can actually version control this data and understand who created what. So the key takeaway message I want to motivate first is we could talk about ML, but if we don't have the right cloud infrastructure, we're probably not talking ML here. So now to just motivate this point a little bit further, let's look at the pharma life cycle here, right? On the left you have regulating agencies, on the right you have your clients, which could be the end patients as we talked about extensively here, or it could be any middleman in between. It could be be the drug development life cycle on the process that you see on the left, which is a funnel of its own, and then you have the drug manufacturing process, and then of course the marketing aspect is also important. Now for all of this, we are building, manufacturing and collecting data, and some data might be living in on-premise, some could be living on cloud provided by some service provider, but what we can all agree is we are generating data as we speak, and they are living either in the best case in a multi-cloud environment or in the worst case on your laptop. So now we have the segmented data. How are we going to put this together is the key question that I would like to motivate with this slide. Now, even more complicated once we start thinking about how do we become cloud first is that, oh, we are regulated, we have to think about how and where we put the data. Very fair question, and then that becomes a roadblock for the transition to becoming a cloud first company. And then we start talking about questions, oh, should we prefer efficiency or should we prefer control? Because control is higher when you're looking at on-premise, and efficiency is higher if you take an out-of-the-box software as a service such as AWS or Azure, where everything is packaged and given for you and you can use it. And this question, you would be surprised how many of our clients are deliberating for months to years to pick which kind of the cloud environment we want to go on, and this typically causes company to stagnate over time. Now, as I said before, the benefits of being cloud first is rather obvious, but I would like to motivate at least two top points that might already have come into your mind. The first is the enhanced scalability and flexibility. That means that when you're having cloud solutions, you can actually transport data pretty effortlessly. And second, the cost efficiency, of course. And imagine if all of your company data is living in one cloud platform. Well, of course, we have the data privacy aspect, which needs to be clarified with the service provider. But on the other hand, anyone in any department can talk with each other and trade data without any issues. There are, of course, further advantages, which I flashed on the right here. Now, coming to the challenges, which I touched upon shortly before, the first and the most annoying challenge is the legacy systems, right? Sometimes you're working with, I don't know, Unix code written in the 90s or infrastructure that are so backdated that it is very hard to do the transformation. And second is, of course, the data security and compliance, which was motivated a lot before in the conference today, which is also a key point to take into place when we consider migrating to cloud systems. There are more disadvantages, of course, but these two are the ones that keep popping up when we work with pharma companies. As I mentioned before in this talk, I would not only just like to focus on benefits and challenges, but also kind of spotlight a couple of case studies where we have worked with companies which have had these challenges. And I just want to go back to this one instance of discussion that's been in this conference the last couple of days. Who is our end customer? I completely understand from a pharma perspective, it's very hard to say who your end customer is, but for us, it's pretty obvious. You guys, or most of you guys, are our end customer. We work with you in the digital transformation process, and for us, what is important and let's say the priority is to make you digital in the sense of like making you cloud first, data first, and ML first. So these two case studies are meant to pick use cases where we would like to elaborate to you how being cloud first and more importantly digitalized is very, very important for your company. So the first case is the accelerating vaccine development with cloud-based digital twins at GSK. So now this is a rather common problem, if you could put it that way, for many pharma companies. So for example, in this case, this happened a couple of years back. GSK was kind of having this typical vaccine production funnel where they were pre-selecting certain kind of vaccines and trying to manufacture it at scale. Now you can imagine there's a lot of, as you know from experience, a hit and trial process which requires a lot of feedback loops and iterations, and this costs a lot of money if you're trying it on ground. So what we collaborated with GSK in the sense of like we said, okay, we have this kind of a digital twin infrastructure line, which is the industrial metaverse with the world within Siemens, which you might have heard. where you could technically simulate this process, so the entity of vaccine production process, and then you could cut down costs with that kind of an idea. So this improved time to market, more importantly it optimized costs, and this is something that GSK is still using to the day as we talk about it. The second bit that I would like to also spotlight here, this you might have heard also before, the Siemens Accelerator, which is basically a central portfolio of all Siemens tools, services and personas. Now Accelerator has gone beyond just Accelerator, it's also offered as Accelerator as a service, which is a portfolio of cloud-based solutions. That means you could be sitting anywhere, you could be sitting in Vienna on your phone, and you could be able to access any kind of cloud-based portfolio service that Siemens offers, right from digital twin or running a supervised learning model, anything of that sort. Now in this on the right, what I would like to spotlight is a collaboration with CPI, which is a Center for Process Innovation, where we try to kind of develop a biotech facility which is cloud enabled by default. So any kind of activity that you do has real-time monitoring, and we also ensure that there is kind of a process optimization aspect where the plant layouts or any kind of office layouts are already incorporated in the cloud infrastructure and could be enabled at any point in time. So you can imagine this as kind of a biotech facility for the future with the accelerator technology used on the ground. So of course there are several more use cases that I would gladly spotlight, but I'm happy to discuss about this post the talk. Now, of course, in the entirety of this talk, you would have heard a lot of cloud, and be cloud first, and be enabled, and all of these things. Sure, easy to say, hard to do. I'm with you on that. We face the same challenge. Even with a simple data set that has 10,000 rows, there are challenges that we do not understand as we speak right now. And what we are happy to do is to work together on this. I always think these challenges are like an iceberg. You see that at the top, oh yeah, legacy systems, stuff is not working, it's not transferable. That's true, but usually once you put your foot into this, you understand the deeper problems that you haven't thought about before. For example, the fact that there is no backing from the leadership, which was explained extensively yesterday from an ML point of view, or the company as a whole doesn't have a cloud-first culture. For example, you are developing a tool, but you don't prefer cloud, and this kind of percolates to the rest of the companies. But the good news is that if there is a mindset of data and ML, there's very likely a mindset to be cloud first, and these are challenges that one could work together and solve in a reasonable amount of time. With that, I would like to just throw out a call of action to all of you. Of course, whether it's sales, marketing, drug development, production, it could be working with regulatory agencies, and all of these levels, you're accumulating data and you have a potential here to make it cloud first. So I would say it's a very good opportunity and timing for all of us to explore cloud together, and in this sense Siemens has also been developing over the years, and we are happy to support you in the process. With that, I would like to flash one more last slide. As I said, Siemens is a jungle, there's a lot of stuff happening, but I would like to spotlight here something that's relevant to this conference and this talk. Of course, the health and years bit I mentioned already, but of course Siemens overall has other business units, including digital industries and Siemens infrastructure, and as I mentioned, our consulting segment is also both internally and externally facing, and we try to bring them all together using the Siemens technology as the backbone. With that, I would like to take a short moment to thank all my colleagues who were also incredibly supportive of this talk and the whole cloud-first mindset, including Leander, Sebastian, and Uli. And with that, maybe I just pause for a moment if you guys have any guesses on the number of images generated by ChatGPT, and if yes, which one? But if I don't see a show of hands, anyone has a guess? Sorry? All? No, it's not all. Okay, I could just give you the answer. It's just one, and that's my image. I just polished it with DALL-E actually, but I just wanted to throw it out there in the spirit of the AI in this conference. Yeah. Thanks a lot, everyone, for the question, for the time. And if there are any questions, please let me know. I suppose none. later. See you guys.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, so, hello? Can you hear me? Okay, so the last presentation, only 4 more hours to go. Just kidding. So I just wanted to say thank you for joining. Really, I hope that you enjoyed quite a bit like we enjoyed in producing it. And seeing you in the Dubrovnik and hopefully in Vienna next year as well. And of course, if you have any questions for us, just let us know. And by the way, we will also share all the videos and other materials to you as well. So thank you so much for joining. It was a super great pleasure. Thank you so much.
아, 못 봐.